Hello, good morning. Welcome to Joy News Desk. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. Coming up this morning, Ghana embarks on HIV/AIDS self-testing initiative to check rising cases of new infections in the country. How will this work out? The director of Ghana AIDS Commission is my guest this morning. Also, we'll tell you about an unusual situation in New Botiano where occupants of a house have resorted to climbing a ladder in order to go in and out of their home after flood waters eroded the entrance of the house. Last 9 people killed in 581 fire incidents recorded in the Ashanti region in the first half of 2023. We have details plus business and more coming up. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. The Accra metropolis leads with the highest number of persons living with HIV in the Greater Accra region. This was revealed by the Mayor of Accra, Elizabeth Saki, at the launch of the National HIV Self-Testing Program in Accra on Wednesday. According to the Mayor, some 8,112 persons in the metropolitan area are among the over 350,000 persons living with the disease nationwide.
It's estimated that the national adult HIV prevalence stands at 1.66%, with a total of 354,927 individuals living with HIV, consisting of 330,250 adults and 24,712 children. In the Greater Accra region, Accra metropolis has the highest number of people living with HIV, with a total of 8,112, which is a stark reminder of the agency with which we must collectively act to address the issue.
Well, with over 16,000 annual infection rates, the program's manager of the National AIDS and STI Control Program, Dr. Stephen Isiado, says over 200,000 HIV self-testing kits have so far been distributed among Ghanaians under the pilot phase, out of which over 80% of those who reacted were linked to treatment. Some who were linked to treatment.
And through the pilot, we had 3 channels: the health facility where people could get a test kits and then test themselves. We also had one USAID funded EPIC project, which was targeted at key populations. And then we also have the Garnet, who were distributed in communities, 50 districts in our country, targeted at adolescent girls and young women, their partners, other truck drivers, and betting settings. And then last but not least, we have an online version, that's Self-Test Ghana, where people can order this test and then they can test and then bring the results. So far, altogether, we've distributed about 200,000 test kits, different levels with respect to each of the organizations. And we are happy to indicate that quite a number of these people are early testers, first-time tested. In the EPIC project, the number tested, about 77% were first-time tested, testers, which means that without the self-test, they wouldn't have tested. And because it requires an effort to come to the facility, it's very difficult sometimes for people. So it's critical that people take advantage of this. And then all these people, quite a number of them, have been linked. The positives have been linked to treatment. So it has enhanced the linkage rates, on antiretroviral therapy. The other benefit is that apart from the confirmation, anybody who is negative among key populations is eligible for pre-exposure prophylaxis. So you take the medication before you are exposed. And we were able to, out of these, all the numbers, that are identified, all the eligible people, we were able to link a good number of them, over 80%, also, for pre-exposure prophylaxis. Because if we want to end the epidemic, we must break the transmission amongst key populations. Their prevalence is 18%. So we must protect them so that they don't transmit it to their partners.
Let's stay longer on this subject because we have the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Chwahene, with us in the studio. Grateful for your time, Doc.
Thank you.
First, let's look at our situation generally as a country. Are we progressing or retrogressing?
How do I put it? Yes, we are progressing, but at a slow pace for a number of reasons. So, for example, we are talking about testing. So I'll use testing as an example. Per our goal and objectives of the national response, we are supposed to test at least 95% of persons living with HIV for them to know their HIV status. And having been diagnosed, we expect that those who have been diagnosed, at least 95% of them will be given antiretroviral treatment and supported to achieve viral suppression. And we expect that those who are virally suppressed should be 95% of those who are on treatment. Now, currently, we have achieved only 72% of the target for testing. 72% of the target for testing, which means that the 28% who live with HIV in this country do not know their HIV status because they have not tested. And that is the reason why we have launched the self-test kits so that the underserved populations can be reached. And in fact, the number one underserved population in Ghana is men.
Okay.
It's men. We have the majority of men who live with HIV not knowing their HIV status because they have not tested. And these are the people who are spreading the virus. And so the opportunity is being given to men, adolescents and young people, high-class sex workers. That's what I call them. And we also have key affected populations like men who have sex with men, and the older men who have sex with men are also unreachable. And so this is a way that we will want to reach them and to get them tested. Okay. We have transgender and injecting drug users. All these people are underserved populations that need the self-test kits.
Let's look at the breakdown. And this morning we're hearing about the AMA leading in the Greater Accra region. And I need you to break that down for me. I mean, if you look at the breakdown, explain those figures to me. Which area is leading with an increased infection rate and all that?
Okay, so the next week we are going to disseminate the results of the national estimates and projections, which will give us the details of the information you want put across now.
Okay.
But generally, every region in the country, every district in the country is affected by HIV. And so we see that HIV has something to do with urbanization. So the large urban centers have higher, concentration of HIV population in this country.
Okay.
And so you take Greater Accra, you have Accra, you have Kumasi, you have, of course, Takoradi, and the other, big centers. They all have very high HIV prevalence, much, much higher than the national average. And so we have to look at urbanization, and that is the reason why we have prioritized these cities to ensure that we reach out to more at-risk populations living in these cities so that they get tested, and those who test positive are given antiretroviral treatment and supported to remain on treatment.
Okay.
Because treatment is a lifelong thing. And so once they start, they need to continue and become virally suppressed and maintain their suppressed status. That is the only way they can have healthy and productive lives.
So 4 to 6 people are infected with HIV/AIDS every day.
Yes.
Across the country.
Yes.
What could be accounting for this?
The first factor is the fact that more and more people are taking risks that expose them to HIV. And this time, people are much more daring. Inhibitions, the traditional society, the kind of inhibitions we had in the traditional society seem to have broken down. And so you have young women and men, doing sex work on the internet, in our streets, all over the country. That is one. People have seen taking sex as a means of livelihood, especially for young men and women, and that is quite concerning, because when they are no longer attractive, when they are no longer able to attract the clients that they currently have, what will be the source of their livelihood?
Yep.
It's very concerning. And the saddest thing about it is that HIV affects the most economically active population in the country, aged 15 to 49. And that means that if we do not reduce the new infections that we are currently seeing to the barest minimum, then the country stands a serious risk of having, having its economy significantly undermined by HIV infections in the country.
It does appear to me that awareness creation, we still need some level of education with what you're saying. What happened to awareness creation? I remember those days when it was all over the place. If it's not on, it's not in. Protect your life. It's your life, it's your choice. Those days. What happened? We don't see all of that anymore.
Okay, yes. We don't see those old songs now because the HIV has evolved. The epidemic has evolved, and the way we handle it has also evolved. And therefore, there are certain nomenclature in some of the songs that no longer apply today.
Okay.
However, and therefore, we have come up with new ones. Not a song, but we have educational television, ads, and radio jingles.
But is it widespread like we used to here?
Yes, it has to be widespread, but someone has got to pay for it. Okay. And that is where we have the major challenge. We no longer have the resources as we used to. Currently, we have only 1/3 of the money we need to finance the HIV response. And as you said, the awareness creation, the education, the counseling, the outreaches, and making services available, right at the doorsteps of the people are very essential if we must achieve our goal. We don't have the money to do all that.
Why? Because those days, you don't receive donor support anymore?
We do receive donor support. Without it, we will not be doing anything at all so far as HIV is concerned. We are getting money from Global Fund. We are getting money from the PEFA, that is the President Emergency Relief for AIDS plan.
Okay.
Sorry, I am not... I haven't put it right, but the PEFA is also supporting. The UN agencies, they have the HIV program, so they support with some little money. But altogether, when you put all of it together, we are getting only about 1/3 of it. Why? Because the donors are saying that HIV funds, at least we should have 60% coming from domestic sources.
Okay.
And we are not able to meet that requirement. And so it is important for us as a people that at the stage where we have made significant progress. We have achieved a lot in the HIV response, but we stand a high risk of having these achievements reversed and putting the lives of people living with HIV in peril. Why? Because, as I said, they need lifelong treatment. Once they start, they must continue and live with it until they die. And because the drugs are very effective, they are able to live normal lives, like have the normal life expectancy. And so you expect that they will live beyond 60 years. And that means somebody paying for it.
Yeah.
Given the current economic situation of the country, we all understand government cannot do it all. And so individual Ghanaians, organizations, philanthropists have to come in. And so the commission has come up. The commission is by law responsible for resource mobilization for the AIDS response. And so legally that is our mandate and we must deliver on it. Whilst government is considering how much it will put in the program, individuals should also recognize that government cannot do it alone and we all have to contribute. So we have a short code that people can donate to. It's star 9898 hash. Star 9898 hash, and follow the prompts and donate, to the Ghana AIDS Commission or the AIDS Fund. We also have a bank account at the Bank of Ghana, and if you want to donate directly, that information is also available. And if you want to present your donation also publicly, that can be done, and all such donations will be acknowledged by the chairman of the commission of Ghana AIDS Commission, which is the president. If you want to, do the presentation directly to him or to the commission, it can easily be arranged. And so it is important that all of us make this contribution to the AIDS response. Otherwise, we are not only going to see people having AIDS or dying of AIDS, we are going to have, escalation in the new infections, which will undermine our economy and also the health of the people of the country.
We'll talk more about the self-testing exercise and the response so far, but let's also look at the antiretroviral drugs. How efficient has it been in supporting people living with HIV/AIDS?
It's been very efficient. That is why you do not see any emaciated, bodies walking around. That's why you are not seeing the cases, so many cases in health facilities. In the past, some time ago, the AIDS cases were actually took the chunk of the number of beds in the health facilities. Today, it's not like that. You hardly see somebody with AIDS symptoms. It's because the medicines are working. You don't see people who are virally suppressed. You can see that they are living normal lives. They look normal. Nothing shows that they have any disease. And in fact, if you are not told, you won't know. And often when I am with them and I introduce them, people say that, no, we can't believe it. We can't believe it.
But that also comes with a cost, right?
That comes with a cost, and the cost is what makes the cost of the response, very high. Every year we need about $133 million to provide the services, wide range of services to the people of Ghana. And the cost of the antiretroviral medicines, which we do not produce in Ghana, we import them. Test kits, condoms, reagents and other laboratory supplies and other things, that logistics that are needed, are all part of the cost. And of course, prevention is very important in every infectious disease response, because it is infectious. It means that more and more people will continue to get it, and therefore we need to intensify prevention in its all forms, whether biomedical or behavioral or social or structural. We need to tackle all those aspects of the risk that expose people to HIV infection.
And I believe a key among all of that is being responsible as a person, so that we can all reduce the cost. Let's talk about the testing exercise, the individual testing exercise. I mean, how is it done, and how has the response been so far?
All right. You mean the self-testing?
The self-testing, yes.
Okay. The self-test is a new innovation that has been introduced. We started the pilot in 2021, first with EPIC project, which is under the USAID program. They were working among key affected populations, men who have sex with men, sex workers, transgender. So they gave them the test kits for them to test. Presently, and then we had GANET, also, that is Ghana NGOs in HIV response. They were also part of it. They were reaching out to adolescent and young people, and of course at-risk men in the communities. Now we have internet-based one as well, where anybody can order the test kits on the net, and it will be delivered to them. And so we also have the arrangement with some pharmacists who are selling the test kits. So the combination of these outlets helping us to reach more people with the self-test kits.
Okay, that's great. So if I walk into Ghana AIDS Commission, I can be handed a self-testing kit?
Yes.
And it's for free?
Yes. If you yes, that's for free, but in the pharmacy shop you won't get it for free. You would have to
buy it.
Yes. Online I have to check whether it's for free or for sale. Okay. But the community-based distribution is for free.
Do you actually feel this is a very effective way? So what happens if people go into their rooms and they test and they see that they are HIV positive? What next? Are you convinced that these people will actually step out and start looking for help?
Okay.
Or they will keep it to themselves and spread?
Okay, so there is arrangement to support the people who receive the kits and use them.
Okay.
So that we can follow up.
How do you
follow up
monitor?
steps? So in the community-based model, we have peers or individuals who have been trained to support their peers to take the test, report back, and then they can support them and link them to health facilities for further counseling and diagnosis, as well as treatment. So that is it, and it's the same model that applies with the online. The pharmacies, staff of pharmacy shops have also been trained to provide same assistance to the testers or the users of the test kits. And so when you take the test kits, it provides all the information regarding how to conduct the test, to take the sample, and how to read the results, how to interpret it, and the steps that you need to take after having known your test result. And one of the steps that you need to take is to actually contact a health facility. And often people don't want to go to facilities within the communities where they live. At now, we still have people traveling all the way from Tamale to receive their antiretroviral medicines in Kolebu, in Accra, which is needless and a needless expense to incur. In the communities, there are health facilities that provide HIV services, including treatment. And so don't feel shy to go to a facility near you. But if that is a problem for you, then don't travel too far, because it doesn't help in any way. We want to, kill stigma. And one of the ways of killing stigma is people acknowledging that it's their right to have good health. And good health is provided by health facilities. So going to health facility means that's the place for people who have health problems. So if you go to health facility, it's your right.
It's your right.
And no worker in the health facility should stigmatize you because you have a certain kind of disease. And the law is very clear on this. If any healthcare worker or any other person stigmatizes a person living with HIV or affected by HIV, it's a criminal offense. And that person can take the
health worker on.
Yes, take the health worker on and assert his or her right. And the commission is there to support such people. So we should not be afraid to walk to any health facility to get the necessary services.
I'm grateful for your time, Dr. Treme Triahene, and he says that it's your right to seek for medical help and also take advantage of the self-testing. The number to help Ghana AIDS Commission, if you want to, is #9898*, correct? Thank you so much for coming. Let me take you live to Kumasi, because flag bearer hopeful of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Bawumia, has been campaigning across all 47 constituencies in the Ashanti region ahead of the NPP's presidential primary. The vice president is expected to wrap his campaign today as he meets delegates of Tafo and Pankrono, and later he will meet with delegates who will be participating in the August 26 Special Delegates Conference. Nana Abuachi Yadom is at the Tafo Methodist Church, where Dr. Bawumia joins us live with some party delegates. Nana, bring us up to speed on what's happening at where you are.
All right, so Aisha, we are currently at the Old Tafo Methodist Church where the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, will be wrapping up his campaign tour in the Ashanti region. We already know that the Vice President has been here for the past 2 weeks to campaign ahead of the August 26th Special Delegates Conference and the November 3rd Delegates Conference. So currently he is here at the Old Tafo Methodist Church meeting delegates of Tafo and Pankrono. Earlier, when he was arriving, he was led by the Member of Parliament for Tafo, Vincent Eko Asefua, who took him to the Old Tafo Methodist Church. He's joined by the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Chairman Wuntumi, and his campaign coordinator and Member of Parliament for Efijasi, Nana Eyu Efriye, and also some other members of Parliament, especially the Chief of Staff at the Office of the Vice President, and some other important figures in the New Patriotic Party. Currently, I am here with the Communications Director, or let me say the spokesperson for the DMB campaign, Nana Akomia. He's here with me. Nana, welcome to Joy News. Today, the Vice President is wrapping up his campaign in the Ashanti region. How has it been so far for the Vice President for the past 2 weeks, going across all 47 constituencies in the Ashanti region?
Well, it has been an arduous roadshow, if I can put it that way, going by bus to 44 constituencies across the Ashanti region. It has been arduous and tedious, but the Vice President has shown a certain resilience and strength in being able to do all of these 44 constituencies in 2 weeks. And this is the last one, Tafo Pankrono. Then he'll be finished with the Ashanti Regional Tower for now. And I'm sure you were in the hall and you have seen the enthusiasm and excitement of the delegates at the presence of the Vice President. And this is the 44th constituency. Now, this level of excitement and enthusiasm has been displayed in each of the 44 constituencies. And what is a bit surprising is that a majority of the contestants for the MPP flag bearership are from Ashanti region. A majority, if I can count about 8 or 9. So you would have expected that Ashanti region, having so many of its people in the race, would not be showing that much enthusiasm for the Vice President. But from the enthusiasm that you've seen in Ashanti region, there's no doubt that the Vice President is clearly the front runner in this race.
Talking about how some of these aspirants are from the Ashanti region, do you think that the Vice President can carry the weight of the Ashanti region come August 26th for the Special Delegates Conference and also for the Delegates Conference in November 3rd?
Oh, I have no doubt in my mind at all, because the affection and the enthusiasm and the excitement, you can see this is not faked. This is real. And you had a constituency chairman, and it's been like that, chairman after chairman after chairman after chairman, they openly declaring, even though you try to restrain them, but they can't help it. I mean, and you can see the reaction from the constituencies, the delegates, when the endorsements come. There's no doubt that Bawumia will carry Ashanti region, and when he carries Ashanti region, obviously he's going to carry the rest of the country.
And there were concerns by the minority yesterday that some members of Parliament, in fact from the majority side, have boycotted sitting to follow the Vice President for his campaign tour in the region and across the country. What do you have to say with regards to this? Do you think the members of Parliament have indeed boycotted their role as members of Parliament just to support the Vice President as he tours the region?
Well, you and I now, we are in a live situation, isn't it? We are actually at the campaign venue, live. Now, how many MPs are with the Vice President? Of course, the Member of Parliament for Tafo Pankrono is here. This is his constituency, so he has to be here. He's here. Apart from him, how many MPs are here? Maybe 5, 4. So I don't think really that's a big issue.
Well, some concerns from other aspirants are with regards to your special delegates conference, which will be held in August. They want it to be held in a general place, a centralized place, unlike 2014 where we had it across the regions. Do you also go by this same thought by other aspirants in the presidential race?
Well, I personally do not see what difference it will make if people are brought to a center or people vote in their regions. I don't see what difference it will make. I mean, the delegates elections, which will come on in November, there are over 200,000 delegates. Are you going to bring them to a center? Is it possible? But if there is a consensus, I understand that some of the aspirants believe that it would be appropriate to have it to bring all the special delegates. There are only about 900 of them, so it may be possible, not too much difficulty in bringing them. And if the party looks at it and really is not going to make any difference in terms of the logistics, and the party wants to go by it, it shouldn't be a problem. As for Dr. Bawumia, he's fairly neutral in this matter. Whatever the form that it takes, he believes that the delegates are on his side, whether they come to a center or whether they vote in there. So he's in the middle.
All right, so Aisha, that is Nana Akomia, and he is the campaign spokesperson for Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia. Currently, the vice president is at the altar for Pankrono Methodist Church, wrapping up his campaign tour in the Ashanti region. He has taken it to his tour throughout several constituencies in the region, and later onwards, the vice president is expected to visit other regions ahead of the NDC presidential primaries. So I hand over to you, Aisha.
That's it for you. You heard there Nanaya Boakye-Yiadom. He's with the vice president and his campaign team. They are in Tafo right now campaigning to be the leader of the NPP in the 2024 elections. And you heard him right there. He says campaign has been good. That's his campaign manager, Nana Akomia, who says campaign has been good. And he thinks Dr. Bawumia is the man for the job of breaking the 8. Let's move on to other stories. Imagine living in a house you can only access with the help of a ladder. That is the situation of 25-year-old Nanaya Wisdom Eshen. But his situation only mirrors what residents of New Botiano have to endure as a result of perennial floods, hanging homes caused by torrential rains, children killed by floods, and bad roads are just some of the troubles the residents continue to endure anytime it rains. Maxwell Agbagba has more in our latest Floods of Trauma series.
It is March 2023. Flood water has forced the collapse of a building here at New Botiano. 2 children, 9 and 11 years, were swept away, died. Their mother, Nanama, sits on the floor inconsolable after the disaster. After the collapse of the building, Nanama relocated from New Botiano. She never wanted to have anything to do with this community again.
Oh, you're from Ransford.
Ransford, yeah.
Ransford Ebenezer.
I've met 18-year-old Ransford Ebenezer Chum. The 2 children were his friends. He says he was traumatized for days.
No, we are 3. Penini Ketwa.
There were 3 siblings. The little one was rescued, but the 2 of them died. Their parents have not relocated. The flood water first caused the collapse of their building. The water swept away one of them, and the other one tried to rescue her, but the 2 died. They were swept away by the flood water.
Not too far from Naname's house is another house which is virtually hanging.
Residents here tell me that a pregnant woman used to live in this house, and she also used the ladder
anytime she wants to get access to her home or step out to go to town. Nana Kwame and Alex have been living here for the past 2 years. This is how they do it all the time. It's always a risky journey to get to their home. And they tell me that it's terrifying when it starts raining, and they always have to wait for the rain to subside before they come out. Okay. How long have you been staying here?
I'm staying here for 2 years.
Met the man who lives here, Nanayo Ishen. He says the only way to access his residence is with the help of a ladder which sits about 10 feet deep into the belly of the earth. And massive erosion caused by continuous flooding in the new Botiano community has left roads impassable and structures on the verge of collapse. Nanayo Wisdom Eshen moved into the hanging house with his brother Alex Nana Benyin after the owner was forced by the situation to relocate with his family. Nanayo says he has had many near-death experiences living in the house, but says he does not have the means to rent another place.
It's very, very dangerous. When the rain is falling, hard one or heavy one, and you come and stand here, even here, you listen, the floor, very huge rain passes through here, so it's very, very dangerous.
Yeah. So why don't you move out of this place? Or you don't have any other place?
No, I don't have any other place because I'm here for a work, or I'm learning a work, so I'm young to rent a house or do something else. So here is the choice I want to.
Okay, shit.
Yeah.
So without a ladder, can you come to the house and get out without a ladder?
No, without the ladder, I won't come out. I can't come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if someone comes to remove the ladder one day?
Then I will stay here till when I get a new ladder. I want them to come and fix it for us, especially me, because there is a big house here, and if you can't climb this ladder, you can't get in. So I want them to come and do something for us.
Nanayo's brother, Alex Nana Benyin, says the flood is not only destroying their building, it is also destroying properties, roads, and claiming lives.
Na sensu to na wo ha hu se asase no eheki but wo baye ndem ni ba bi akọ baga no choice nti no yesre.
We are scared anytime it rains, but we have no option. Anytime it rains, you will hear the earth trembling and shaking. They shouldn't wait until any catastrophe strikes before they decide to take action. They should deal with the problem now.
Because of Guatana and no efis rabana nebo budani na ma nkwala mienu no insurance sa won.
Recently, the torrential rains here killed 2 children just some meters away from where we live. The floodwater from here destroyed their structure, and city authorities were here, but they did not do anything about the situation. We are really suffering here. The entire community is suffering. The floodwater from here goes all the way to Botiano Junction, SCC Junction, and around Atala.
Here at the new Botiano taxi station, many of the drivers are worried about the state of the roads. They say the rains have caused deep gullies on them, leaving the roads impassable. General Secretary of the Taxi Union, Emmanuel Adopreko, is appealing to government to fix the situation.
It's erosion, and before it wasn't like that. Before, the whole place was bush. When it rains, during that time, the soil can absorb the water, but now they are building their houses. They have transferred everything, their water waste everything to the main road. So now it's the rain and the main, their waste, which is spoiling the road now. When they're going to do something, because we are part of Accra. Then even though at times when we ask them, they said this place is not in the government schedule that they are coming to do the road, but we are paying to the government. So once people are living here, those over here, let me guess, they can even more than be 5,000 plus or something like that.
The situation at New Botiano does not only pose a challenge to residents, but persons who use the Accra-Takoradi highway. The flood water and silt from the community and other parts of the Weja-Kaswa Ridge are dumped on portions of the highway, resulting in bumper-to-bumper traffic. A resident, Eric Jano, says until authorities deal with the problem from the source, residents of New Botiano and persons who use the Accra-Takoradi Highway will continue to endure the floods of trauma.
If you just joined us, we're still live on Joy News Desk. We're on the Joy News channel and we're coming to you from our studios in Kokomlemle. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll bring you business.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The Managing Director of Republic Bank PLC, Benjamin Joboku, has expressed optimism of the bank bouncing back after shocks from the domestic debt exchange program. This is coming after the bank recorded a loss of 22.69 million Ghana cedis in 2022. According to him, the current measures put together by the Bank of Ghana to stem further deterioration within the space would support banks in the coming months. He was speaking at the 32nd Annual General Meeting of the Republic Bank.
In spite of the many challenges, the bank maintained a strong balance sheet as it witnessed a 20% year-on-year growth in assets from 4.25 billion cedis in 2021 to 5.10 billion cedis in 2022. This was due to growth in loans and advances, which was funded by the deposit growth. Managing Director Benjamin Joboku said his outfit is putting up structures for more growth in other areas.
We have a policy, and that policy is 40-60. Therefore, had it not because of the DDAP, if you look at the annual statement, the provision that we made as a result of the DDAP was about 167 million. And would have made a lot of profit for 2022. So that actually affected our inability to pay the dividend that we're supposed to pay to our shareholders. And we believe that 2024, 2025, we should pay dividend to our shareholders.
The non-performing loans ratio of the bank also increased to 19% from 15%. Meanwhile, Mr. Joboku explained that this was as a result of an expansion in the NPL portfolio. He expects the non-performing loans ratio to come down by the close of the year.
You know, if you look at the economic fundamentals for 2022, inflation increased to about 54%. And then the exchange rate volatility. We had some exposures in foreign currency. And because of the volatility, we decided to convert most of this foreign currency loan into cedis. So that actually affected our non-performing loan, increasing to about 19%. But if you look at what we published for the first quarter and the second quarter, you realize that those decisions that we took is yielding for us. And we believe by December, the non-performing loan ratio will have come down drastically.
For the year 2022, the bank recorded 324 million Ghana cedis in operating expenses. James Echen's reports for Joy Business.
Now, as part of its quest to support the construction sector, Tanning Group Ghana has launched its Dongfeng trucks. According to its head of sales, Rebecca Oforiaye, the move is also to provide consumers durable products that will stand the test of time. Speaking to Joy Business at the unveiling, she said the construction sector needs a reform.
Target audience for these trucks are road construction, other construction companies like the real estates, and then with the light duty trucks, we are targeting the delivery companies, the moving companies, the logistics companies, and other companies like whoever has to, the distributing channels. So we are focusing on the distributing channels for the light duty trucks and the heavy duty trucks, as I said, basically on the construction company, any form of construction company, the Dongfeng trucks are there for you. We are competitive in terms of the price on, because this price comes with a high specs. The technologies in these trucks cannot be seen in the Ghanaian market. The durability, the comfort driving, the safety and security features of these vehicles are top-notch. But if we want to match up the price with the ones in the market, we would go higher above. But with Tanic, we stay competitive because customer is our focus.
And that's it for business. The news continues after the break.
The Ashanti region has recorded 9 deaths from 581 fire incidents in the first half of the year. Poor adherence to basic fire measures is a major attribute to the recent fire incidents. And Abuachi Yadom reports on measures to control fire incidents in the region.
The latest fire incident in the Ashanti region recorded in June were both domestic cases. 2 bedrooms and several properties were gutted in a building at Atonsobokro. The second incident at Tafo Pankrono had the fire sweeping through a 5-bedroom apartment and displaced occupants of the house. Mechanics at Asokwa were saved by firefighters and the rains when their shops gutted fire. Ashanti Regional Public Relations Officer of the Fire Service, DO3 Peter Adair, says a total of 581 fire incidents were recorded in the first half of the year. This is an improvement over the 700 cases recorded in the same period last year.
If you compare 2023 to 2022 figures, has reduced by about 17%. So by close of June 2023, we had recorded 581 fires as compared to 700 same period 2022. So we realized that we've been able to reduce the fires by 119 fires, which is about 17% if you compare the 2 years. So significantly we have reduced the fires.
9 people lost their lives through the fires. 7 died in domestic fire, while the 2 got trapped in an accident vehicle and burned to death. DO3 Peter Adair disclosed the death rate increased by 1 compared to the same period last year.
So by close of first half of 2023, we had lost 9 people to fire. That compared to same period 2022. By close of 2020, same period 2022, 8 people had lost their life as a result of fire. So that has actually gone up by 1. So 2022, 8, 9 in 2023.
Fire officers attribute the fire incident to poor fire safety precautions in homes and markets. DO3 Adair says the public sensitization of fire has been intensified to help decline the fire incidents.
In fact, all fires are preventable. So if the public adheres to basic fire safety principles, it will reduce the fires significantly.
And that's how we wrap up the bulletin this morning. It's on Joy News Desk. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. See you again at 12.